Genesis chapter 26 relates the story of Isaac as he is stepping out on his own. And I love this story because it gives a picture of a second generation faith. Because in our churches today, many a times we don't really do a good job at passing on or teaching the next generation how they can walk for themselves with Christ. The story is relating the life of Isaac as he is finding his footing as the man of the house. Abraham is now gone, his mom is gone, it is him in his house, and yet much of the story seems very similar to that of Abraham. He goes to the same king and he plays the same trick that his dad played and ends up getting kicked out of that land. He goes back to the land where his father had already owned, and he begins to unplug the wells that were there, and that goes fine for a bit until he ventures out on his own into his own territory, trying to strike out in a new place. And when he first does that, there is a quarrel between him and the men of the area, and they fight for a little bit on trying to use this well, and at the end of the day they end up just giving up, and he moves on to another well. There he finds the same thing, and he has to quarrel, he has to fight, and he's not successful. But then he moves on to a third well. And he names all three of these wells, but the third well is really the one that I want to focus in on, because that third well, he calls it Rehoboth. Rehoboth in Hebrew means God makes room. And what I love about that picture is that he had to fight for it. He had to continue, even though it was difficult, even though it wasn't easy. He was able to find the place that God had for him. Yes, he had all that his dad had given him before, but he struck out on his own to find his own place. And he was not content until he found the place that God had made room for him. The question I have for you is, are you content in the inheritance, the spiritual inheritance that your parents have given to you? Are you unhappy with it, and are you rebelling against it and going away, not willing to continue in it? Or are you searching for your Rehoboth? For that place that God has made for you is going to take some fighting. It may take some quarrels. It may take some battles. But at the end of the day, I can guarantee you, as somebody who God has shown his Rehoboth, it is worth it. Search out for it. Fight for it. God has a Rehoboth set down for you.